So check this out. This is what went wrong. That's my spring. That bit and that bit got all tangled up together and then rolled down like that, so it was too short. As near as I can tell, it's supposed to be that sized. Whoops. This is the replacement that came in my other kit. And the last thing I want to do, other than the fact that the new ones seem to be substantially beefier, is check that they're around about the same height, which is probably true since they're proper engineers. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt since this one's all sheared off and stuff. Might keep that. I'm going to compress the new spring into place over the valve, which still looks pretty good. We got room to install the keepers. Time to find the tweezers. You're not going to be able to see this. Goodness knows I'm having trouble seeing it, and it's my hand. There have been a couple camera snafus since I spoke to you last. One is that the actual footage of me inserting the spring disappeared, which is annoying, but I've got a handful before and after. We're going to look at that. But today, we're reinstalling the camshaft. I've got Vanos gears. I've got things. I have a bottle full of oil for inserting things. And the only thing that I should probably tell you right now is that I put the camshafts on and set the caps on top. I will show you how that went. Shouldn't be a big deal. And then we've got a whole bunch of reassembly to do. I have paper notes because it's easier when you're covered in oil to not have to operate a tablet. First thing I'm doing is just winding these bolts down because they're just forever out. $30. With that solved, I don't think there's any issue there, but I am going to take a moment to point the clips straight up and down as suggested. The instructions give you explicit warnings to make sure that the clip rings are pointed straight up. So I'm going to move that there, rotate that. I'm going to do the same on the exhaust cam. Except that I've lost them. It's just out of view. Let's not be wrong about this. There. Intake 6 points out. Exhaust 5 points out. Great. And this is actually a very cool touch. I don't know why I think that, except that it fascinates me that what they've done is they've actually etched the name of the shaft into it. So this is the E2, the intake on 2. That's the A to, I can see it. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it's right here. They've also got the same etching. So we are in position, and we can start ratcheting those down a half turn at a time. And at least for the first bit, I can do it with this just to get started. That is the end of the machine's involvement for a while. And now we start cranking. I'm just going to do it flat. I imagine once you torque it, the order matters. But right now, I'm just going to make sure everybody gets a half turn at a time. I'm letting my back rest for a moment. The torque wrench set to 13 Newton meters. Let's start from the inside out. I double-checked the torque just to be sure. And now we put the cap back on, returning the borrowed bolt for hanging the chain. And as a reminder, all the arrows point towards the front, also conveniently marked E and A. Oh, I didn't even pause it. All right, I did find my note. The guide bolt is 20 Newton meters. It's so oily, I can't turn it with my hand. I can barely stop it from rotating. I need a 10 to open that up. It was just beyond finger tight. With that on, we're ready to install the tensioned gear. Sorry, let me do this where you can see what's happening. I'm re-oiling around in here where it's been sitting for a bit. I need to pull that out without releasing tension on the rest of this. That's my only concern. And get that 3mm hex bolt that I found amongst my bicycling equipment out of there. Except I'm wearing gloves and can't pick up a 3mm hex wrench. Aha! You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to preemptively get out a magnet. Curious side effect? The magnet keeps sucking the wrench. You know what? I'm keeping that bolt in this kit. Remove the special timing tool. And now the tension is off. Now we start the timing procedure. We need to talk about the next bit. I think E539 restorations. We need to talk about the next bit. The restorations, E539 restorations channel does this better than I will. But I want to talk about the procedure because it is a procedure. Significant reason that I have this. We've gotten this far. The next bit is where it gets tricky. Everything's in place, but now we have to time this half of the engine. We have to set it 10 degrees back from top dead center, lock the cams in position, install the tensioner, the timing tensioner, and the stretch bolts with some copper grease on the back or some sort of lubricant to protect us from this. In fact, I got to get those washers out. And with all of that done, we rotate the engine twice and make sure that the timing tools drop straight back into place with no friction. Oh, sorry. Rotate it twice, put it back to, I believe, top dead center. I'll double check that bit. And then if the timing tools drop straight down to the surface, then everything is fine. If not, then I'm going to pull some pieces off. We're going to try it again. I'd rather not do that. I'm pleased we got this far with no surprises. I'm going to go fish out my washers. You know what? Let's install the timing tensioner first. I think that actually completes the previous step for me. For the timing chain, reinstalling. Nice and gentle like. Pop quiz, what size was that cap? It wasn't 27. It wasn't 19. Reinstalling the timing tensioner. It's a 17mm hex. All of this looks aluminum and fragile. I'm being careful for that reason. 65 Newton meters, which also explains why I nearly knocked myself over when I took it off. I can install the cover. Let's install the cover. What do you bet? It's sitting right here, staring at me in its box. Dang it. I am not replacing this cap this time around. I'm also not putting it in the correct hole. Let's try that again, shall we? Oh, look, it goes over here. See, that goes much better. All right, that one goes in at 30 Newton meters. Let's get the that seems absurdly low. And yet the numbers are right, but whatever, probably the leverage. I need to set the engine back to 10 degrees back, but for that we get to see how smoothly it turns. I'm excited. How about you? You want to turn the engine? Take out the locking pin. All right, rotate it to 10 degrees back. We are now locked 10 degrees back per the instructions. Time to install the timing locks. So what's happened here is that I've sat the timing locks in place. The cams have not been positioned yet. We've just installed them. So now we need to grab the cams and essentially manhandle them into the right position so that we can do the installation of the timing wheel Vanos thing and time the engine.